Hey, I am back with a few graphic novels that I recommend picking up. If you are new to graphic novels, these might be good places to start, depending on what you like. I am going to show you five of them, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about them, but I'll give you a short little description and show you what they look like. So I am starting with This One Summer. This is by Jillian Tamaki and Mariko Tamaki. This is basically about two girls who spend the summer together at a beach house, and it is a coming of age. The main girl is dealing with her relationship with her parents. Her mother has recently gone through something, and she's trying to deal with the fallout from that. It gets into detail later on in the book. The color palette of this book is lovely. It's actually navy blue and white, but the pictures are gorgeous. Just realistic. I enjoyed this a lot. I think I was on vacation at the time that I read it, so that kind of helped enhance the enjoyment for me. So that's This One Summer. The other book I have for you is Hyperbole and a Half. This is actually a nonfiction graphic novel, I guess you could say. This is about a girl, and basically it's her experiences with her dogs and dealing with depression, and it's very random and hilarious, and I highly enjoyed this. I think this girl, Allie Brosh, has a blog, and I think this is where her comics kind of started, was online on her blog. As you can see, the pictures are kind of scribbly and kind of amateur-y, but in a comical way, and they just kind of make you laugh. Especially the stories about her dogs are really funny because it kind of tells you what they're thinking or what she thinks that they're thinking. And it does go into detail about her depression a little bit and just different experiences with different people in her life. So she's supposed to come out with a new book, as this has been out for a few years now, but it hasn't come out yet, and there's been some kind of delay on it. I don't know what that's about, but I'm looking forward so much to picking up her next book because this one is a winner. This is just funny. It's kind of moving, and mostly it's just a lot of things you think about yourself that she just feels the same way. It's kind of hard to explain. It's a lot of things where you're like, oh, I thought that same thing too, in the experiences in her life. So recommend this highly. The next book I have is a children's graphic novel. It is called The Lunch Witch, and it's for basically, it's for children. But I thought I would pick it up because I saw it randomly, just started flipping through it. The pictures are really funny. They're actually made to look like they have food dropped on them or grease on them. It's because the story is set, at a school, and this is a former witch whose business has gone under and she needs a new job, so she becomes a lunch lady at a school. And it's about her, just basically her experience there, and she meets one of the students, and she's not really a very nice woman. She's kind of a grouchy old lady, but she kind of develops this friendship with this young girl, and somehow her spells get out of hand, and she has to deal with these other witch relatives that she has, and she's got a cute little dog that's kind of along for the ride. And part of the reason I love this book is the dog kind of looks like my dog, so it's a little black dog. And so there's a second book in this series called The Lunch Witch 2, appropriately enough. And that one's really good too. So I recommend this. It's just fun. It's for kids, but really it has kind of an adult sense of humor as well. So it's kind of accessible for kids or adults. So the next book I have on a more serious note is Mouse by Art Spiegelman. And this should be well known to you because it's been around for a while. It's another nonfiction. It's about a man whose father and mother are Jewish, and they survived concentration camps back in the 40s in Germany, I think. It might be Poland. Actually, yeah, it's Poland. I'm sorry. But his father tells him about his experiences of survival and how he got through this horrible time. And his son just takes it all down, and he creates a comic where the Nazis are portrayed as cats and the Jewish people are mice. So it's a whole cat and mouse metaphor, which I think works pretty well. It's not a very complex metaphor, but I think it kind of works. And it's not heavily focused on that. That's just how the characters are. Um, and so I like this. The drawings were not always appealing to me. They're kind of a little bit um, they're black and white, which is fine, but they get a little bit intricate and detailed where you kind of have to look closely to see things. Also, a lot of the characters look alike. They don't make them look very distinctive, each one. So anyway, like I said, this is actually a true story. So Art Spiegelman, his father and mother survived the Holocaust, and this is his account of what he learned from his father. And just the stories that he tells are just amazing and beyond belief what this person experienced. So I recommend this a lot. There are two books in the series, and I kind of breezed through both of them. Difficult to read in places, but naturally due to the subject matter, but very rewarding and very moving and part of our history. So I think important. So I highly recommend Mouse. The final book I have to show you right now is The Sculptor by Scott McCloud. And this is a favorite for me for sure. This is kind of a sort of a magical, supernatural story. It features this artist who is obviously a sculptor, and he's had some success in his career, and he actually gets into a slump where he's kind of in between jobs and not really experiencing the success that he had for a while, and he's wondering what to do and what is the next move for his career. Well, he runs into his uncle at, I think, a cafe, and that in itself is very strange because his uncle has been dead for maybe a year or a significant period of time. So, anyway, he's seeing his uncle next to him and talking to him. And it turns out his uncle is able to make a deal with him that if he that he will have success for the next several months with his career. He will become a great artist. He'll be able to be inspired and creative and create the best work of his career. But in exchange, he has to basically sell his soul away. And that means he only has, I think it's about maybe 4 months to live. He agrees to do it because he wants to be successful. That's all he wants. He wants to be an artist. He wants to succeed. He wants to sell his work. He wants to share his work. So he agrees to this. And of course, immediately afterwards, he meets his dream girl. And so the story kind of takes off from that point. They become involved and they get to know each other and realize a connection. And it's all about, how he can reconcile the choice that he's made with this new experience of meeting this wonderful girl who he loves and wants to be with. And so this book is a big, chunky book, but I got through it very fast. It's very engaging, it's very emotional. The characters are very real, they are likable, they suck you in. The art is gorgeous. Um, I can't do it justice by showing it on video, really, but it's basically just a kind of a light blue and grayish tone color palette, but it's not just, the artist doesn't just show you what happens, he gives you tiny details of everyday life, like a salt shaker on a table, or a doorknob turning, or a tap at a bar, like pouring out alcohol. It's just little simple everyday details that are really noticeable. And so I flew through this book. It's actually made me cry. So, and that is not very common. I don't often cry when I read things, every now and then. But this was probably my favorite, although all of these are wonderful. So I recommend any of them. If you read any of these, if you have any recommendations for me to pick up in the graphic novel realm, I would love to read your comments if you have them. And I will be back with another video. I'd love to talk about more graphic novels that I've read, or ones that I would love to read. I don't really go so much for superhero type books or high fantasy type of things. I really like books that are kind of based in kind of everyday real life, as I see it. Although I suppose that is kind of different for everybody. But that is a pile of graphic novels that I really enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back soon. And have a great day. Bye.